We're going to call a work session to order. Beth, you're on for the budget review.
If you want to sit right, sit right.
Beth, you can sit.
I just didn't your mic. You want to sit? You want to sit here? I'll pull that back. I was just trying to get them another microphone over there, but yeah, sit here. Sure. Sure.
Does that make sense?
All right, ready for another afternoon. We're not going to take an hour. Trying to get through.
With this issue.
Yeah,
Okay.
no problem.
Oh, it does. Good.
Are we missing two people? Gene and
Yeah, they're late. They're late for this meeting. So they're going to have to join when they join. We already started the meeting, Dan, so. I already called it to order. You guys are late.
He's out of order.
He's definitely out of order.
Does that mean I get to leave if I'm out of work?
You can leave at 8.
You don't want to miss this. Okay, so this is our follow-up to our May budget work session, and we're going to focus more on the mill levy since we have received our estimated assessed valuation. And it came in at $133,247,450. That's better, yes. So compared to our final valuation in 2025, it's about $287,000 higher, which will generate $287,000 more in tax dollars, keeping in mind that we built into the budget $225,000 for the comprehensive plan. So we are proposing that we do a flat mill levy, keeping it at 41.909 mills, which will, again, generate $287,000 more in tax dollars.
Is that price for a comprehensive plan? Have we got any quotes or anything on it, or is that just a shot in the dark?
kind of it's an estimate. Yeah, we haven't received any proposals or anything, but I think that's comparable to what other cities have.
Josh is confident.
I baked in a little bit of buffer,
Mhm.
in case, but
Okay,
not a lot of buffer.
okay.
Yes. So I put in a table down below. I had a request to use higher housing prices. So we started with a $250,000 house. Currently, what they are paying, for the 2026 budget, the R&R rate would be 39.754. So the R&R is what would generate the same amount of tax dollars as our budget for 2025. If we keep a flat mill levy, it's going to generate more tax dollars. So this is what the difference would be on a $250,000 house, $350,000 house, on up to a $750,000 house. That is per year. It's not per month. That's, your taxes would go up by that for the year.
The city property.
And this is just the city.
Right.
This is just the city portion.
Yeah.
This is not any other of the taxing entities.
Just add them. Be like $800.
Yeah. So this is just kind of a history of our mill levy and what we have done over the past 5 years. We did stay at the R&R rate for a couple of years there, lowered our reserves. We pretty much tapped out our reserves. So any kind of increased costs, which we know the price of everything is going up, is going to affect what our mill levy is going to be if we do not want to dip further into reserves.
That's not a good idea.
Where's the reserve balance?
That's
I'm sorry.
That's coming up. And so this is, and in there I put just a little chart of what our breakdown is. It does kind of fluctuate between the four mill levy funds, the amounts. So I've just kind of put a history of what those are. Typically, we're kind of fixed with most of our mill levy funds. Debt service, I mean, we have to levy the funds to pay debt. So you'll see this year it's dropped a little bit, but we have the Parks project where we know we're going to have probably some leftover funds from that project that maybe anything that's left over from a capital project that we've bonded out, we are required to transfer those remaining funds to our debt service fund to help pay off the debt on that. So that kind of offsets some of the mill levy in that fund. The library, we are mandated by the state. We have to meet certain conditions in order to qualify for their grant, which also then qualifies us for other grants that are available. So we have to work that budget so that its budget doesn't vary much. We don't have a lot of leeway with fooling around with that mill levy, trying to get it down, lower it so we can offset the general fund or something. That's built in place to protect libraries. So, and then of course, fire department, we are, Delaware Township is paying 9 mills. We want to be diligent and make sure that we are matching what they are having to pay. So we're kind of fixed at the 9 mil rate for that too. General fund is the only one that we really have any leeway in reducing. Okay, so here's kind of a projection of what this could look like. Keep in mind, this is a year and a half away. Well, half a year for this, but we are, the beginning balance is based on if we spent every dollar and we didn't bring in any additional revenue. So it's a very conservative estimate of what our beginning fund balance will be as of January 1, 2026. And then basically the revenues, the ad valorem taxes, all of those are based on our budget that I've built through the state. So.
What's in reserves?
Reserves right now, we were at 2.7 ending 2024. So,
Okay.
yeah. So will we be at 1.9? I think we'll be a little bit higher than that. Just based on, that's, I have to budget for the worst case,
Right.
if all of the police department positions are filled, or we have
I get it.
everything.
Yeah, the last couple of years, when we've gone revenue neutral, we've dug into that reserve.
Yeah.
Is this going to help us get back up to where we were?
This will maintain us for right now. I don't think it's going to necessarily build on those reserves, which is okay. We just don't want it to let it drop too low.
No.
So we want to keep them healthy. So. And I'm looking forward at legislation that's possibly coming forward where they're looking at building in like a CPI into that calculation for the R&R, which will help cities, because right now the R&R doesn't account for any type of growth. It's just maintaining status quo. It's not even allowing you to increase due to the cost of fuel going up or materials.
Yeah, things aren't getting cheaper.
Right. So hopefully the state legislature is going to look at that and kind of amend that rule so that it accounts for growth. And then down below is just kind of a breakdown of where those dollars are going. And you will see the biggest piece of that for salaries and benefits. You have to have people to do the jobs that we need to get done. It's kind of. We talked about the CNS requests at the May meeting, and everything is still, I think we're still on track for that. None of those were hitting a mill levy fund. They were all coming out of other special funds, other than the fire department. The fire department, I think they have a healthy fund balance right now. I think they're going to continue to have that. We also have Delaware, I think some of these items they're interested in us having, so they're willing to maybe put in some additional funds to help fund those. So that will offset some of those costs. And then wastewater, couple of those and the fire. The ones with the asterisks that say 2025, we're going to try to knock those out this year, as long as we aren't having any major things go on that would affect our expenses. I think we can absorb those this year. They knock those out. And then the storm sewer project, we're going to look at pushing that off because we don't want to interfere with the 2026 Independence Day celebration and have that road closed and people not have access to the fireworks event. I think one thing to note, the Police Equipment Reserve Fund, we were talking about the in-car camera systems. Steve went back, talked to them again, got a better number of the number of cameras he would need. That price actually went down a little bit, so that's a positive. This is just covering our timeline. We need to notify the county clerk of the intent to exceed the R&R by July 20th. She really would like to know it. I mean, I'm going to let her know tomorrow because, of course, the sooner she has her information, the sooner she can get it out to taxpayers. So as long as there's a consensus here tonight that the flat mill levy is okay right now, we will go ahead and I'll let her know that. Keep in mind, if you guys should suddenly go like, nope, we need to do something different, you can always lower the mill levy. If you wanted to raise it, that would be the problem. So I don't anticipate that many of you are looking to raise the mill levy. So.
Well, we've done it like that before, though, haven't we?
Yes. Yeah. You always want to like publish high because you can always go lower. So.
Well, if the assessments went up 5.4%, it would equate to we're about 5.4% above revenue neutral.
Mm-hmm.
And how much of that is just normal inflation
For
next, your best guess?
that's, well, I mean, like when you think about it,
If you applied the CPI versus
yeah.
the assessed valuation thing.
So it's not really that much of a raise. We're thinking about the CPI.
Well, it is in a sense that we're doing a comprehensive plan. So, I mean, if we didn't have that, it would be,
That's eating up almost all.
That's eating up a lot of
we
it.
could be pretty close to revenue neutral, actually.
Yeah, we wouldn't be far from.
Like 40K over or something. But we got to put that in this year. Get that
I was
in.
just looking at the perspective of things,
I think
Yeah.
maybe to put it in perspective, I want to say like our health insurance went up 8%. Do you remember how much our property insurance went up? Wasn't it 18% or something
It
like
was.
that?
And he gave us a number of like between 3 and 4% for 2026.
Yeah.
So.
I think we're budgeting 4.5% for employees this year. So I mean, like somebody had said, everything's going up. So I mean, it's hard just to keep up, especially when we have that $225,000 expense coming next year.
I guess we should consider ourselves lucky that county's health insurance went up 38%. So,
Yep.
Not really, because they're taxing you for it. I mean,
well,
I don't feel lucky. Their insurance went up.
So anyway, back to the timeline. I would go ahead and publish that notice as of August 1. We do have some leeway this year because we have to hold that hearing between the 20th of August and the 20th of September. We actually have a couple of council meetings in there. I just put it on the first one, then, I don't know, I'm just like, let's get it done, or we give ourselves some time if something should come up and we need to extend it to that next meeting, carry it over. So that would be the plan, to do it then. And go from there. The one thing that is different this year is we used to hold the R&R hearing, close it, and then vote, and the council would vote on exceeding the R&R. You have to open the hearing, then vote, and then close it now. I don't know why the state changed it, but they did this year, so. We'll remind you of that before the meeting. So. And then we'll have the budget hearing right after that. Close that hearing and then approve the budget.
But you need to know our guidance tonight, right?
Yeah. My intent is to notify the county clerk that we'll maintain a flat mill levy.
We can always publish it flat and go lower too, so.
You have the option, that's why.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you don't meet the deadline, then you don't have the option.
Correct.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
I don't think anybody has an issue with that.
No.
This is just, I like to put this in front of you guys every once in a while, just because I don't think it comes up a lot, but it's our debt schedule. And it's just the type of debt we have. The ones that are highlighted are wastewater. So it just kind of keeps you informed about the different types of debt we've got and when it's coming due, so.
Just went over there, I don't know, I just,
Well, yeah, but there's more of the others.
yeah.
And the wastewater fund pays for the wastewater debt. So
Now it does.
now it does, yes.
Now it does. Like 12 years I was on the council, it didn't.
So these are just our other funds. I'd just like to reiterate these, just so that you have them. These are all in our budget when I submit it to the state. And really, all of them are fairly healthy. Special parks is where we are paying for operating expenses for the pool, where the revenues are going in for the pool. So we do have a transfer that we budgeted this year from the general fund to that special parks fund in case revenues did not cover operating costs. So right now, I mean, I budgeted $130,000 for revenues. We've brought in 48, which I would expect the bulk of our big revenue will be these first couple of weeks as people are buying season passes. So I would expect that revenue would go down a little bit, but I think it's doing very well. So and I'm hoping the expenses, I think we budgeted about $170,000. There's enough reserve in there that I don't think we'll make a full transfer. That transfer is not automatic. I'll look at it once we've gotten through that season and look at the revenues and expenses, how that fund is doing, and determine whether we need to transfer some, none, or all. So anything we don't have to transfer helps that general fund reserve.
This is excellent, Beth.
Thank you. And then here are our two capital projects. These are two that we issued debt for. So when that aquatic facility project is complete, the balance that is left will be transferred into the debt service fund to offset the debt for that facility. The town center sanitary sewer, when that project's complete, the balance will be transferred to the wastewater fund to offset the debt in that project. And town center sanitary sewer, there's a lot of rock, so spring of 2025 is not accurate for the completion date. It's going to be more like October, I think, so, according to Tony.
Just like, look at Tony.
Yeah.
Any questions?
Anybody got any questions?
Okay, so I will move forward with notifying the county clerk, and then,
Will we have any idea of a projected cost of the comprehensive plan before we have to vote on this finally?
I think we were envisioning getting proposals in early 2026. But, I mean, I'm not sure if there's a way we can refine that figure more
yeah.
before
I was
August.
just curious.
I think,
If it's
yeah,
going to be
we
150,
should have an
you know,
RFP.
then it's like, oh, we just blew 100K.
Well, all that does is then the 2027 budget will see the effect of it.
This was a little bit before me, but wasn't the last one 150? Does that ring a bell to you guys?
Yeah, I want to say it was like 130 something. It was, I think we budgeted 150. and I think it came in just under that. But I don't know. I mean,
I don't remember.
Thank you, Beth.
I mean, it's a team of planners that come and help. I mean, it's not like asphalt costs that went up. It's maybe the cost of doing one went up. I don't know. Just salaries maybe.
Yours.
Well,
Not mine.
14 or 15
I don't have a
years ago.
salary.
You get a stipend.
Stipend. Yes, we all have stipends. Okay. Go around the horn. Anybody got anything?
Thank you very much.
All right, Beth, thank you very much.
I want to say congratulations to Terry. I see you made the front page of the paper. Your great job that's going on at the library.
What happened?
Oh, don't tell me you didn't know. You didn't know? Yeah, she knew.
What happened?
There's a nice article about the library and the programs they have and what a great job they're doing over there.
Yep, awesome.
All right.
Well deserved, Terry.
Yes, it is.
If there's nothing else, we are adjourned.